Hey, welcome in everybody. Here it is, August the 1st, and we're inside the grow room. Look like we're seeding some stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, gardening should be over, correct? Well, it's not. Because what we're doing is we seeded some more tomatoes a couple of weeks ago. And these tomatoes they will harvest in 49 days. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to beat the frost and get these planted back into the ground using the shade cloth through the month of August to protect them a little bit, in hopes that we can get another tomato harvest sometime in mid-October. Here in zone 8A, it's hit or miss. We've had freezes as early as October, the first week in October. And we've also had it not freeze all the way till December. So we're taking a gamble on these. And we're going to see if we can get us a tomato harvest this fall. So what we're doing right now is we're going to try to get these separated out and put into their own pot. That way we can give them a week and grow a little bit bigger. And then we're going to transplant them out into the garden. So, just because it's hot, and it's supposed to be 106 today here in North Texas, so it's going to be hot, and these things are going to have a shade cloth, and we're going to have to really pay attention to these. We're going to put a few of those in some raised beds, and we're also going to plant a couple of these into the ground, and we're going to see which one actually does better during the fall. What we also done is I also seeded some more peppers, and these are bell peppers, and we're going to see if we can get a harvest of peppers before that first frost as well. So even though I do these type of videos in the springtime when everything is ready to transplant, I'm going to show you again how to transplant these tomatoes into these here and transplant them and get them ready to go. Alright, let's get all of our seeds out of the way that we're going to plant out in the garden a little bit later. And what we're going to do is we'll bring these tomatoes in over here, and we're going to separate these out and plant them. So, real easy. We'll separate these little guys out just like so. Little hole down in the bottom, and remember, when we're doing these tomatoes, you can plant you do want to make sure that they have their true leaves. And remember, we're going to plant these things all the way up as high as we can. Because remember, these tomatoes have that superpower of growing adventitious roots. Yeah, look at that. We got some good. And if you're curious on what we decided to plant as far as tomatoes, where it says right here, 49 days to germinate. I don't know if you can see that or not. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these seeds and we're going to look at days to germinate, or days to harvest. And this right here is 49 days to harvest. We're going to try to find varieties, and this one here is the early treat hybrid tomato I got at the local big box store. And I just looked on the back and tried to find some that was less than 50 days. Then this one here is 49 days. We've got the 4th of July hybrid, which is also 49 days. So just look for some of the tomatoes that do that, and you should be fine. Like I said, poke you a hole down in the bottom of this thing. Bury that thing down there nice and deep. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave these under the lights. We'll probably turn the lights off and let them acclimate to the transplant just a little bit, and then we'll run the lights back on them. And what we're going to do, we're going to end up having about 20 or 30 of these tomato plants. And we're not going to plant all 20 or 30 of these. But what we are going to do is we're going to offer some of these to some of our friends and family around that also likes to do some gardening and attempts to see if they want to do a fall garden as well. I'm curious to know what your take is. Have you ever tried to grow tomatoes this late in the fall, this late into the season in August or so? If so, leave it down in the comments, because I'm just curious. And if you're watching this video, leave it down in the comments where you garden from, what zones that you garden from, because I'd be kind of curious to know, some of the stuff that y'all do in your zones that may be a little bit different than what we're doing here in northern Texas. So once we get all these planted and seeded out, and look at that, look how good those look. Those look awesome. Separate the roots just a little bit. Look at that, got two awesome transplants. Well, we didn't bury that one down near as deep as what we should, but it should be all right. Sometimes it's easier just to pull them out really down in there a little bit. There's that transplant down in there, and there we go. So these will look good. These will perk right up, and then we'll check back on them in a couple of days and see how well they're doing. Not only are we going to be planting these tomatoes and transplanting those for this nice experimental thing now. I call it experimental because I've done it before and have had some luck. And I've also done it before and got bit by a frost that was unexpected in mid-October. Some of the things that I do recommend that we plant in August, and that is going to be cucumbers. I know it doesn't sound like, hey, cucumbers, you shouldn't be planting them, but this is going to be our third wave of cucumbers. And these here harvest in as little as 47 days, and these up to 60 days. You put these things and you seed them now, it's only going to take 3 or 4 days before these things germinate. And we can protect them a little bit with some of the shade cloth in that late, harsh afternoon sun. But when all the other cucumbers are dying and quit producing, plant another one. This is the third time that I've planted a section of cucumbers, and I've been getting a harvest for at least 3 months from cucumbers. Next thing we're going to do is any brassicas. Any of your brassicas that you want to plant, we're going to plant those. And we're going to do some broccoli, we're going to do cauliflower, we're going to do kale, and we're also going to do some Swiss chard. That's some of the things that we can plant here in the Zone 8A where I'm at right now. Another thing that I like to plant, and that's somewhere around mid-August, is peas. Now, the timing on peas, you want to make sure that you get the peas in the ground by mid-August. That way you're actually harvesting these things somewhere around mid-September or so. Peas are really good. They handle cooler weather a lot better. So we're going to be able to get some of these peas in the ground and actually get us to harvest sometime in mid to late September. And the last thing I want to talk about is onions. We are going to be planting onions. If you're in zone, I would say zone 7 and up, you can pretty much grow onions year round. And these are going to take 8 to 10 weeks to germinate. Now when I do onions, I like to plant those in a bucket and keep them indoors because, like I said, they're going to take 8 to 10 weeks before they germinate and get going good, before you can even think about separating them out. Other than my tomato experiment and planting these right here, I understand July and August, it's brutal. Most of the stuff that you've got in the garden is dying off. Most of your tomatoes have died off. Most of your peppers are struggling with blossom drops and all that stuff. But you can still grow stuff in late August. And for those nice fall evenings when you have those temperatures that are like in the mid 70s, man, what's going to be great about that is going out into the garden and still producing fruit all the way up until your hard frost.